Hi. Today I'm gonna cut up some bark beetle spruce. This video has no cuts at all. It is run for half an hour straight. So this is the actual time it takes for me to cut one log. So this half hour is from when I roll in the log until all the planks are unloaded from the bed. So I feed in the log on my hydraulic table and roll it onto the sawmill. If you would please subscribe to my channel, it would make me really happy, and push the like button, it would make me even more happy. Thank you. When the log is placed on the sawmill, I adjust it and lift it a little bit in the front end to get the even cut. I move the log a little bit forward so I get one support in the front and one support in the back. If you let the front end hang without support, normally the planks get a little bit off in the dimension. This is a nice round log and it's fairly straight, so it's quite easy to get it even. Normally when cutting logs for other people in the neighborhood, I charge $45 per hour, but then I adjust it a little bit. If I run into problems that is really not anyone else's problem than mine, I deduct a little bit. Charging is not my good side. I secure the log with 2 clamps or sometimes 3. Normally the larger the log is, the less you need to secure it. This log I mill for a neighbor, so I really try to get out every single piece of board that is possible, so sometimes I make an extra cut or 2. If you want to speed it up a little bit, it's possible to make it in one cut and then just turn and make another cut, but you waste a lot of wood that way. When I put this much work into cutting a log, it would be something like $4 per board foot, which would be too much. It's too expensive, so I will deduct the price a little bit. If I calculate with $45 per hour and I get 36 planks times 13 feet each plank, so then you will get about 40 cents per board foot, and in Sweden that is a little bit much. I could probably cut a little bit faster than I do here, but since I really want these boards to be straight and nice, I cut a little bit slow. Beside my own hourly cost, there is the cost of the saw band, which is about $38. It's a high quality band. And then you have electricity, which is almost nothing. I think I calculated it with a few cents. I made another video where I connected a kilowatt hour meter, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was very little per board. I had forgot to start in the dust fan, but here it starts, so now it will start taking care of the sawdust again. And since this is an uncut version, it is just video as it goes, so I don't remove anything, and I mean, this is stuff that happens during work. First cut is a really thin cut, so it just goes out through the door, but it will become firewood, so it's not waste, and the customer picks up everything. Then I just push bump up, and I cut the board of 1 inch on top of this one, and that becomes a 1 inch board with live edge. And today live edge wood is really easy to sell, or you can use it at the farm for fences and stuff. So after 8 minutes, the first board for the customer, a real board, is made. It takes some time. Now comes the first turning of the log. I'll just turn it up against the log supports to get it absolutely square. After flipping the log, I lock it, and then I lift it a little bit in the front because it's still uncut surfaces. the first cut on the first flip, it's also going straight out to the wood pile. The log is quite tapered, so even though I took a really thin cut in the front, it becomes a heavy part in the back. Next cut is also a 1-inch board live edge, goes to directly to the customer, and that is by order from the customer. On the second flip of the log, I get a flat surface down, and I don't need support anymore. I only need them for flipping. And this is also the cut that sets the width of the boards. And again, the first cuts end up on the firewood pile. Now the log has 3 sides cut, so I will start making boards. And I move the log a little bit forward so I even out the support out in front and back, so I have about the same stick out from the log. Now I have calculated a starting point for the board cutting, and since I'm cutting 1-inch boards, I have calculated the starting point, so I will end up with the 1-inch board. It is 1 inch plus 1 inch plus 1 inch plus all the time the thickness of the saw band. The blade has a thickness and that disappears, so you have to calculate with that. I could have started one board earlier and not have to cut so much, but then I would have wasted a little bit more wood, and you don't want to waste good wood. After this cut I will start producing the proper boards, and that is after 20 minutes of cutting just to get to this point. But then it will be much faster when we start cutting the boards. Now I have bumped up and locked the bump up on this height, so now I can continue to cut all the boards without having to remove the boards between each cut. That saves a lot of walking around. I will cut all the boards, and when I'm finished I will unload them. Now I just continue in the same speed cutting boards, and I leave them on top of each other. So this is much quicker. Now it's actually a little bit of production. If you're gonna make some money out of this cutting, you should skip all the stingy cutting in the beginning, all the saving of wood, and just make one cut, turn, one cut, turn, one cut, and then start manufacturing your boards. But when you're working for people in the neighborhood, you want to really save as much wood as possible. Now it's only like 2 boards left of the log, and if we look at this, it took about 20 minutes to get to the point where I'm actually making in-size boards, and after 8 minutes I have more or less cut up all the boards. So the first 20 minutes is making the log square and set it for cutting, and the next 8 to 10 minutes is cutting the boards. So a large log will give you a lot more boards for the time you're cutting, and if you try to not save so much wood, it will go much quicker. I could probably have saved a lot of time by not making 2 or even 3 cuts before turning. If I want $45 per hour, we are talking about 40 cents per board feet, which is a little bit too much. I could have been more effective in the beginning and not made so many cuts, but a larger log would have given a lot more board feet per minute. Now I will unload all the boards that has been cut with a bump up. The top board is of course with the live edge, but that's fine for this customer. And now, as you can see, the clean boards are starting to be produced. So that was all for this time. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button, because you can't really live out of the income from this sawmill, and really not from YouTube either. Thank you and have a nice day.